guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Today we're talking about all the ways you can get and make best use of your energy, because a few people have, I know I've read a few comments on Reddit that there have been feeling like there's a bit of an energy deficit, that it is hard to come by. But I'll be talking about a few ways you can change your gameplay to make it so that you always have energy. So, the first one we're going to be getting into is inns. They're the most important. They're the biggest source of reliable energy in the game. Now, there are a few things to know about inns. One, let's start with the fact that they have a cooldown of 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes, you can go into them and you can do this symbol to magical trace to get one of 5 dishes. Now, there are 5 different types of inns, and they will be indicated by different colours. We have purple, blue, green, pink, and brown. And they all represent different areas. So here you see me accessing a purple gym. 5 what look like just cauldrons, soup. 1 energy is all you get from that. So right now I am in a city center. This is a previous gameplay, by the way. So this purple inn is giving me a possible 5 dishes that I can have, 4 of which will provide 1 energy and 1 which I think will provide only 2. So in these inns, you're gonna get, when you're in a city center, you're not gonna get a lot of energy from them. Now if you're in a rural area, this is a lot different. Okay, so here's footage of me in a rural area where we have green gyms. And if you see there was 2 chicken dinners, I think 2 honeydukes. So a much better chance of getting higher energy. Chicken dinner there, winner. 10 energy from that. And I'm surrounded by green gyms in my hometown, which is where it's very rural. There's about 7 to 10 Pokestops equivalents, inns in the area, and they've really accounted for this in Wizards Unite, that if you live in a rural area, you're more likely to get these better gyms. Now, so these gyms come with a chance of getting higher energy, and though there's a ton of different meals, so we've got tomato soup, which will give you 1 energy, and that can be found in brown inns and purple inns. So as we saw that coming from a purple inn earlier. Tea set and Bertie Bott's every flavour beans and pumpkin juice will provide you with 2 energy. That can be found in brown inns, pink inns, green inns, blue inns and purple inns. Then we have violet pudding, which is 3, and that will be found in pink inns. There's bangers and mash, which you can find, and that will give you 5 energy. That can be found in purple gyms. 6, which will be given by fish and chips and Honeydukes chocolate bar. That can be found in brown inns, blue inns, green inns. And 7 energy for butterbeer, which can be found in blue inns and purple inns. So whilst purple inns are, you're going to find them in the more common areas, more heavily populated city-like areas, you can still have a chance of getting 7 energy from them. Your chances are very low though. So as you saw in that previous cauldron where I had, previous set of dishes where I had 4 cauldrons and 1, I think it was a pumpkin juice or a honey juice chocolate bar. I'm not sure. It only had 1 option anyway. Whereas when you go into the rural areas, as seen in this one, I actually had 2 chicken dinners, I think was in the chances of getting. If we go back a bit, we can see before this there was only saw a flash. Can't go back to it. Is it going to show us again? No, this is the rotating. Right, so if we go into it and we look at it, pause it very briefly, there we go. We've got 2 chicken dinners, 2 honeydukes, candy I think, and top, which is pumpkin juice. So we've got a much better chance of getting more energy. So how can you use this to your advantage? If you are going around a city area, you're going to use up energy very quick. And if you're going around a rural area, you're not going to use it up as much. Now, I live in a rural area, but I went to play in a city area because there are better spawns, more spawns in a city area, more people, therefore more people using dark detectors that you can get to use for free. So a tip I just would say, if you've got this within your local area, is go on a bus trip or be a passenger and making a trip to town. So I have an unlimited bus card, which means I can go back and forth in the week on the same bus, which is a 40-minute journey. And in a 40-minute journey, I found that you get a ton of energy just on that trip. You do sometimes have to, let some of the foundables that you see on your map go, because if you deal with them all, you'll get to the end and you won't have much energy. But if you do pay attention to when the bus stops, sometimes you can get past, whilst going past, if you're going past slow enough, you can swipe it and get the energy in time. A really important thing to know is that when you're going past, you will log out. So as soon as you go past something, if I was driving past this building, I can click on it, and if I've driven past it but already swiped, I will still get the energy from it. So it's after you've swiped, even if it doesn't show what you've actually got and it times out and kicks you out of it, which it will do, you will still get the energy reward from it when you look in you can go to your vault and see that the energy will be there. So I definitely recommend building up your energy when you're, in transit, and then when you are walking around like I did in Nottingham all day, that's when you use up your energy a bit more. Now, another way of getting energy, not a very reliable source of it, but still a little extra and worth actually using these, are in greenhouses. So greenhouses will give you 2 energy max when you use them. So just like in when you've encountered an inn, you can do the swiping action, so swiping up in a plant pot, and you will get a chance of having 2 energy as well as an ingredient. Now, more often than not, you are going to get 2 different potion ingredients, but as you can see there quickly, I got given 2 energy. So again, not a reliable source of it, but still you can get some from it. So again, not a reliable source of it, but you can still get some energy from greenhouses, so worth doing. Now, the next 2 ways of getting energy are fairly obvious, and one of them is not a very, not something that you want to be relying on, is in daily treasure. There are bonuses of getting, so I've got to play another 8 days and I will be rewarded with 8 energy, which is not a lot. I would say it needs to be more of a reward, but hey, it's something, and every little helps. Number 4 is going to the store, so Diagon Alley, and purchasing energy. So they have made it that you can purchase energy. Now, this might be, frustrating for some, but this game does reward coins a lot, so it's a purely free to play. It can be a free to play game if you want to play it, and there's no PvP, so it doesn't really matter. You can play at your own pace. But you can buy 50 spell energy for 100 coins, which is pretty good. And, so if we compute that into money terms, if you are going to buy gems, then you're not going to be able to, apparently. So I think it's like £4.99 for 200, maybe. So it's like £2.50 for some spell energy. But you can, as I said before, you can get them for free. When you're leveling up, you're getting like 10 or 20 coins each time. You get it from a lot of your challenges, so you should be able to use that for free every now and then. I would save them coins just in case you encounter something that is emergency threat level, like if you're facing a Dumbledore. Save it for those things, and don't get to a point where you are where I am, where you've got 4 energy, because if you've got an encounter that's good and you can't actually deal with it because you've got no spell energy, it's going to be frustrating. In that case, I would obviously just buy some spell energy. But if you're low on coins as well, it's definitely something worth thinking about. So the 5th and final way is not actually a way to gain energy. It's a way to conserve energy and use it wisely. So there's 3 things that I would say that will help you to do this. So when casting spells against foundables, there's 2 things that will be measured when you are tracing a spell. There's accuracy and speed. So pay attention when you are casting these. Don't do it when walking. It might affect your accuracy. If you hit a bump or you're bumping in a walk, it might just throw your accuracy off. Because if you get higher, if you get between good, great, or masterful on them, it's going to increase your chances of dealing with that foundable, and therefore it's going to require less spell casts and less energy to deal with it. So that's one way of conserving energy. Another one is another way to increase your chances of dealing with those foundables and therefore conserve spell energy, and that's use potions. Brew your Estimalo potions or get them from your challenges as rewards, and these will increase the likelihood that you're going to catch them because it will decrease the level of threat. The higher the threat level, the harder it is going to be able to catch, so it will lower that. And then the last two things are some things which are quite important. If there's obviously there's a 5-minute cooldown, so you want to try and make your best use of it. It can be really easy to get distracted by some of the encounters that you have around you. So if you've got a dark detector as well, and you put a lot of down around you, there can be you could be constantly in and out of encounters and dealing with them. But what I found is, probably 30 minutes passed by whilst I was doing that, and I'd only spun the ins once, or cast a spell on them once or twice, because I've just forgotten about it. So it might be useful, like in the early days, just to have some kind of pattern of habit. What I'm going to try and do is maybe just like try and force myself to look at or watch time every 5 minutes, or you could even set timers if you want to be, if you're really like low on energy. That's something you can always do. And then finally, one thing that is really important going into when you've had a lot of encounters is you might want to actually leave some encounters. So if I was going for let's say I have a Legends of Hogwarts encounter and I come across Argus Filch, it doesn't make much sense in terms of the only thing I'm going to get from it is really XP from it. And because if I find it, it's not going to go 2 out of 1, and it's not going to add to further prestiges. I can only do that once I have actually prestiged the level. So I think I prestiged one of these, Ministry of Magic. Yeah, so prestige this, bronze, and you can see they've all reset to 0. So what I've been doing is, when I have been low on energy, is let's say I do encounter a Hufflepuff student, I will just leave and then click on another foundable, because if there's a lot around us in terms of even rural areas, and but definitely in city, that you may actually need one of instead. So I think that's just a nice little tip of where I've been conserving some of my energy and not wasting it on things that I don't actually need. Okay, well, that's all the tips that I have for you guys. If you've enjoyed this, if it has been helpful, please hit the like button. It massively helps the channel out. And if you want to keep up to date with any future content related to the game, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and I'll do my best to keep up with some quality content. Any questions about the game, pop them in the comments section below. And if anybody else has any other energy tips, again, do the same, and I will pin them to the top of the chat. Okay, well, that's all for this one. See you guys soon.